Shared the so there other up that thing. Go click that's the one you have to scroll. You scroll.
Okay.
Don't go to there it is streaming with other.
Okay. Jaya Ram Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Ram Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Bala Girivari Gopi Jana Bala Girivari Yashoda Nandana Vrajadana Nandana Yashoda Nandana Vrajadana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajadana Vandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today the Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11, text number 19. The chapter is called Lord Ramacandra Rules the World. And the chant of Sanskrit. Smaratan Minyasya Vedham Dandaka Kan Vedham Dandaka Kantakai Swapada Pavam Rama Atma Jagiragatsataha Smaritan Vidya Vedham Dandaka Kantakai Swapada Pavam Rama Atma Jyotiragatsataha Smaritam Vinyasa Vedham Dandaka Kantakai Swapada Pavam Rama Atma Jyotiragatsataha Vinyasa Vedham Dandaka Swapada Pavam Rama Atma Jyotiragatsataha Smaritam Vinyasa Vedham Dandaka Kantakai Swapadam Rama Atma Jyotiragatsataha Smaritam Vinyasa Vedham Dandaka Kantakai Swapada Rama Atmajaya Gatata. Anyone else? Sparta Vivinyasya Vedam Kantakai Swapada Bhagavam Rama Atmajaya Gatata. Smarata Vinyasya Vedam Kantakai Swapada Bhagavam Rama Atmajaya Gatata. Vinyasya Vedam Kantakai Swapada Bhagavam Atmajaya Gatata. Vedam Kantakai Swapada Bhagavam Rama Atmajaya Gatata. Okay, forward sentence. Smartam. A person to always think of him. Really, in the core of the heart. Vinyasa, place. Vidam, pierce. Dandika Kantakai, by thorns, the forest of Dandika. While Lord Ramacandra was living there. So Bhagavam, the petals of his lotus feet. Ramaha, Lord Ramachandra, Atmajoti, the rays of his bodily luster known as the Ramajoti. Agan entered at the Maha beyond the Ramajoti or his own Vaikuntha planet. Translation. After completing his sacrifice, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by thorns when he lived in Dandakaranya, placed the lotus feet in the heart of those who always think of him. Then entered his own abode, the Vaikuntha planet, beyond the Brahmajyoti. Srila Prabhupada's purpose. The lotus feet of the Lord are always a subject matter for meditation for devotees. Sometimes Lord Ramachandra wandered from the forest of Dandakaranya, thorns pricked his lotus feet. The devotee, upon thinking of this, would faint. The, the Lord does not feel pain or pleasure from any action or reaction of this material world, but the devotees cannot tolerate even the pricking of the Lord's lotus feet by a thorn. This was the attitude of the gopis when they thought of Krishna wandering in the forest with pebbles and grains of sand pricking his lotus feet. This tribulation in the heart of the devotee cannot be understood by karmis, jnanis, or yogis. The devotees who could not tolerate even thinking of the Lord's lotus feet being pricked by a thorn were again put into tribulation by thinking of the Lord's disappearance, for the Lord had to return to his abode after finishing his pastimes in the material world. The word Atma Jyoti is significant. The Brahma Jyoti, which is greatly appreciated by jnanis or monistic philosophers who desire to enter it for liberation, is nothing but the rays of the Lord's body. Yasham Amajo Jagananda Koti Koti Svasheshna Vasudha Vibhuti Vinam Hadvam Vishka Amananda Ashisha Bhuttam Govinda Hari Purusham Mahadvajami. I worship Govinda, the Prime of the Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. That's quoted from chapter 5, verse 14. The Brahma Jyoti is the beginning of the spiritual world, and beyond the Brahma Jyoti are the Vaikuntha planets. In other words, the Brahma Jyoti stays outside the Vaikuntha planets, just as the sunshine stays outside the sun. To enter the sun planet, one must go through the sunshine. Similarly, when the Lord or his devotees enter the Vaikuntha planet, they go through the Brahma Jyoti. The jnanis or monistic philosophers, because of their impersonal conception of the Lord, cannot enter the Vaikuntha planet, but they also cannot stay eternally in the Brahma Jyoti. Thus, after some time, they fall again to this material world. Aruya Krishna Param Padam Tata Patanjalo Nadvika Yushmad Anvara from the Srimad-bhagavatam 10th Canto, 2nd chapter, 32nd verse. The Vaikuntha planets are covered by the Brahman Jyoti, and therefore one did not properly understand what those Vaikuntha planets are unless one is a pure devotee. Oh my God, so now this point of the Srimad-bhagavatam, Lord Ramacandra is now going back. He's finished his earthly pastimes and has gone back to the spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada is describing here how the devotees, the pure devotees at least, their feelings about what Krishna are extraordinary. Just like it's described here how when the devotees would think about Lord Ramacandra while he was in the forest and he was going barefooted and he was stepping on, and sometimes his feet would be hurt, pricked by thorns. So even though his externally feet were pricked by thorns, of course Lord Ramacandra himself did not experience any pain. But the devotees of the Lord, when you would hear about it, that his feet were being pricked, because they had such feelings of service for the Lord, they're thinking, oh, this is very horrible. Actual folks, they would actually faint just hearing about this horrible situation when my Lord's feet were being pricked by thorns. Pope. I got Pope with a pen. You know, prick is like if you take a pen and you go like that, and it hurts. So this feet were being pricked by thorns from the plant, from the ground. So Srila to explain that this feeling is it can only be experienced by the devotees. Uh, this feeling of either very happy about the Lord's nice inspiration, or very unhappy because of some apparent uh, difficulty. Uh, you can only the devotees can appreciate this. You know, say the sound sharp. And the uh, but the cards and the Johnnies, they cannot they cannot they have no appreciation of these things. They have no appreciation of these kind of feelings between the Lord and his devotees. Okay? Because the Johnnies, they are only interested in the impersonal aspect of the Lord, the Brahma Yoga. And the army are not even interested in that. They're only interested in how to increase and improve their material ability in the next lifetime. So the Lord, uh, so the devotees who are able to experience this relationship between the Lord, this is actually the highest perfection. Just like if you want to have a relationship with anyone in this material world, sometimes you're, you're, you have a friend, and your friend is in some difficulty, then you're feeling bad because they're your friend. If they're in a very happy situation, then you're feeling very good because they're feeling good. So the same way, if someone is the purity of the Lord, then he hears about the Lord's difficulties, so-called difficulties, feet are being pricked, and other problems. And he's thinking, oh, uh, Krishna suffering like this, Chandra suffering like this, and I'm feeling so much pain because I'm seeing and hearing about them suffering. But in reading the other day, the Lord, you know, uh, the reading the other day, the either transcendental relationships. Something's too loud here to that. And they're saying on the line that it sounds garbage. So the transcendental relationship, which so in reality, the Lord does not experience any pain, any real problem. He is, of course, transcendental to this material existence. Um, so ultimately, in the spiritual world, and when the Lord appears in the material world, all situations are actually um, are examples of a great transcendental happiness. Externally, they may appear to be a form of suffering, but internally, there's transcendental happiness. Um, so Bob in the purport that the Brahmayogi is outside of the spiritual world. Or, I don't know if like Canto is this. Yeah, and we must pass through Ramacandra in order to go to the Vaikuntha planets. So this verse in the Upanishad, where the devotee is praying to the Lord, please remove this transcendental effulgence so that I can see your form of bliss. Hmm? Yeah. Because as long as one is absorbed in aspiring for uh, the to achieve or merge into this impersonal Brahman, as long as you want that, then it's not possible to understand having any personal relationship with the Lord. And and for those who have actually somehow or other succeeded in merging in this Brahma Jyoti, uh, suppose that they cannot, while they cannot go into the spiritual world, and they can also not remain in that Brahma Jyoti forever. And you cannot stay in the Brahma Jyoti forever because soul wants activity. It has to be engaged in some kind of activity. Brahmacharya means you're there, you're, there's no hankering, there's no agitation, there's no activity, there's, there's no pleasure, there's no pain, there's nothing. Simply exists, experiencing an eternal existence, but there's no activity, there's no relationship. But of course, Prabhupada has given us the means to go straight to Krishna level. From Krishna level. So Prabhupada did not teach us to perform austerities and merge in Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is being that level, and the Brahmacharya is considered actually to be a fallen condition. Sometimes there questions have come up. Where we're in the material world, did we actually come from the spiritual world? Or we in the Brahma Jyoti and we fell down? But Srila Prabhupada made it clear that we were in the spiritual world and we fell from there. And Srila Prabhupada he said, fall down means falling from a Krishna conscious position. So he said, the Brahmacharya being immersed in Brahmacharya and falling from there to the word of time, that was already a fallen condition, it's not a Krishna conscious position. So probably the means to go back to the spiritual world, pass through the Ramacandra, and then go directly to the spiritual world. And we may think, well, if we've been here for so long and we struggle to go back to the spiritual world and back to God, and what's to prevent us from making the mistake again, coming back to the material world, another 10 zillion lifetimes. We may think, we may become doubtful that, okay, I'm making an endeavor with the yoga, so I go back to the spiritual world. But we may become doubtful that, okay, I can go back to the spiritual world if I follow the process. But what if I go back to the spiritual world and the next day I make a mistake and I'm sent here again for many billions of lifetimes? says in the Bhagavad Gita that once having returned to my eternal abode, you will never come back to this miserable material world again. And that's my job to make sure that by the time we get out of this material prison, we are good citizens and we will not become troublemakers in the spiritual world. The modern prison system is, well, it's supposed to work like that too. You come out, you're supposed to be an ideal citizen when you get out, ideally. Of course, the system that system doesn't work very well. Um, but by the time you get out of the material prison, the material world, and by the time we get out and go back to the spiritual world, well, we can only go back when we become 100% pure to Krishna. Anyway, there's a couple of points on this verse. Any questions or comments? Anyway. Yes. Yeah. No, that's not the point. Yeah, so probably referring to the one hand, he has no pain or difficulty personally because he's in control of material nature. There's nothing material that can cause him any problem because he's in control. But when he does feel pain, emotional pain or a certain kind of pain, is the pain of seeing and feeling the suffering of his living entities who are suffering in the material world. He's feeling bad about that. That's why he comes to the material world to come and try to encourage us to come back to the spiritual world. So it's a different. Brahman, Brahman. Yeah. No. That's, no. That's what I'm saying. Just like me, just like the Bible would allow that if my person gets pricked by a thorn, it hurts, and I can't. And if it hurts, I can, I feel pain because. But if feel Krishna's feet get pricked by a thorn, he doesn't feel any pain. He's not under the control of material nature. And it causes for the material nature to cause him pain. He's, but his devotee thinking about Krishna, uh, they become very afraid, very unhappy, thinking about the fact that he is feeling pain. That this is an intimate relationship. Because their relationship with Krishna is so intimate. Their relationship with Krishna is so intimate that that um, they, they don't always remember that Krishna is God. They don't always remember that Krishna is God. Whether Yashoda, if baby Krishna, is crying, you know, for some reason, and then she feels total anxiety. He disappears from her sight for 10 seconds, 1 second. Where is Krishna? He's completely, you know, but in reality, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But she doesn't see like that. Same thing with the gopis, although they sometimes understand Krishna is God, but still they're feeling there's so much love, and they're feeling, he says that Krishna is, of course, is all powerful, but at the same time, if Krishna brushes up against some leaf, then his body gets bruised. It's like that. So he shows signs of being as though he's in difficulty, pain, but in reality, he is not feeling pain. He does the things and increases the relationship between him and his devotees. Hmm. Yes, yes. So one thing is what Krishna has his own feeling, but if it's also is always trying to see how to increase the loving relationship between him and his devotees. So Krishna does something that appears to the devotees that he is suffering by being pricked by a thorn. If he's not suffering, but they're increasing their love and their sincere concern, thinking of him, forgetting that he's God and in charge of the material nature. They're thinking of him as that he is suffering, and they're feeling great distress. Actually, it's kind of spirit. Yeah. Um, he, he has, he has. The point is, he's not forced to. He's not forced to suffer as we do because we're in the material world. We're attached to this material energy. He's in control. But and he does have when he has this association with Radha and many of the other gopis, so then he's also feeling great pleasure. But this is spiritual pleasure. Has nothing to do with material nature. It's spiritual pleasure. Just like it's kind of beyond me anyway to really understand it. But just like Lord Ramacandra, uh, he Srila Prabhupada explained, I was reading the other day in the Nectar of Devotion, the Lord Ramacandra, uh, for those who saw what was happening when he was forced to leave, the exiles of the forest and everything, they, they were feeling very, it was like painful. In fact, his father, when he had to go to the forest, his father very soon after that he died because he couldn't tolerate Lord Ramachandra's being separated from him. But Srila would explain that all these very miserable, horrible situations that they appeared for the devotees who are experiencing them, they say, this is horrible. But Srila explains that in reality, there's a level of transcendental happiness, but it's something that they can experience that I don't think we can experience yet because we're reading about it only. That sort of. Anyone else?
We see that many people they learn spiritual topics or take the wrong into the temple. Something like that they do. Uh, but in relation to service to God, they not able to follow. They don't follow in practical terms. Yeah. What are you? So it seems like an important thing. So
Seems like personal what?
it feels like an impersonal being. You are listening so much about service to the Lord, you listen to devotees, so much you are listening to that. So you are reading about this. What practical action is this? So yeah, but you are listening to the word of God, you have to do something about it. So the point is it an impersonal being? Or what the fate of such devotee? Because majority, you see, major like listening or doing this activity, but the practical terms is missing.
Mm.
Like in both of them, you are like fully knowing or doing a lot of everything. When it's so clear, what the feel of it,
I'm sure we're all affected to some degree by impersonalism, as what Shilpa came to stop, to eradicate in the material world. Um, you know, but yeah, yes, to some degree we're affected by impersonalism, and the only way to become free is to engage in personal service to the Lord. And it wasn't just in Shilpa was present. Everyone was 100%, and there were many who were not serious too. Many left, even when Shilpa was present. Um, But but, we follow we follow the process. We follow the process. Uh, Maybe not everyone is going to be fully absorbed right now. Maybe not even in this life. But if we become serious about spiritual life, chanting around, following the principles, and we certainly can we certainly our actual desire for more and more and more devotional service will increase. It's a gradual process, and we're all on different levels. We all come from different levels of backgrounds and previous spiritual various. We've had various degrees previously, and so if we follow the process um, seriously, then we will become more Krishna conscious. If we follow it, as Srila Prabhupada said, to follow it, everyone who does that will go back to the spiritual world. If we don't complete this lifetime because we didn't follow to the fullest degree, then at least we will start off where we left. Start next time where we left off. And with that, answers the question. Anyway, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Actually, you're right. Yes, that's the actual reality. Everything is personal. Even even the sun, the rain, and all everything we say the material nature is doing this. There's actually a personality in charge of everything. Mhm. Yeah, so that and we and those, people hear about they think in this in some parts of the world they say, oh, this kind of mythology, that kind of stuff. A sun god, a moon god. Just, they think these things are made up, but actually there are many mythic gods like that in charge of what we see going on in the material world. There's so in charge of the sun, in charge of the moon, in charge of the weather, rain, and that's there. And and those who are in charge are all servants of the person who's ultimately in charge, and that's Lord Krishna. So so we learn the Vedic knowledge that yes, this is everything is ultimately very personal. Even the rivers are flowing. There's a personified Ganges, Ganges who manifests as the river, and I guess all the other rivers in the world are also have some personality like that too. You know, is in charge of the oceans. Yes. Yes. Last.
So,
Okay.
so the thing is, yes, yes, first, the question is also valid. Why it's there in the conditional stage.
Yeah.
So, unless and until one unless and until one understands Krishna's main article with Krishna himself, until we reach that is the way of where he is slowly finding out this person to go with. Otherwise, it will become. That's what I understand. It's a very high, I mean, it's a very high person, thought person. It's not so easy. Only in person is going to become. My point is that the in-person we are practicing devotees. Why is in-person is the same question which answer asked. Entertain a particular He said that you know that this is for you, sin, but something is forcing you to do it. So why is the same thing that it is combination, combination, and it is around majority. That's what is my understanding. So it's there. Although we are trying to get out of this person, but sometimes because of things that come out,
Yeah. It does.
so we need not be so summarize that because this is the quality of the condition is so means you will be happy. Mother, this one will be slowly so get one educated try to suddenly like stress and like push myself this will go. My heart will endure and go. Use mercy by our surrender. Use mercy and Krishna's mercy. So,
Right. That's all part of
it's part of
the thing.
you know to be part of the created in terms of the part of the process. Slowly, slowly, we can get out of this.
If you speak with worship, it's no other than or speed or somebody thinking about
Yeah.
Bhagavatam and that like somebody or it's steel material steel stainless steel what you call.
Same as meditation.
If somebody is not affected by this, his heart is like steel.
Oh, yeah. Art is
Steel
like
that you- the metal steel.
Yes.
It's a matter.
Yes.
And if years are not affected by the Hindus, then it's like the below thing for in India is for raising the fire, fire. It's like that. When it's coming in, glories are coming, it is not affecting your consciousness. So that means it's been told that it's an equal thing because if you understand the system of to a sense of then something of the thing try to destroy the negative level and going and doing this service. But there is no wrong practical action for Krishna. If everybody takes the conscious seriously, like everybody, but only these whole world can be conscious.
Yeah. Because it teaches how to do something. Is
Like
it?
that is the difference between human and with unlimited power of God. He is not, he doesn't have the personality of God. He knows he's God. But he is insensible to that. And I'm not saying that everybody will not pay any such within but he is lacking the understanding. So it's like somewhere I'm not saying that everybody will do anything. Maybe if you do comes to power, nobody will big athlete, you are. That small is the number of countries you.
Yes.
So slowly, slowly, you also change. If he's ready to take that from a devotee or the Lord.
That's good. Okay. It's getting a little late. I also have to get. Shri Prabhupada ki